the time. We appreciate it. Congrats on the great start. Are you feeling pretty much 100% at this point in terms of being as game ready and ready to roll as you can be?
Yeah, that was the plan coming back. That's what we wanted to feel before I stepped on the field to participate in a big league game. So I felt 100% the first day in Texas and feel 100% right now.
How good a test was that for you to start off those games on AstroTurf, and then you go to Pittsburgh, pretty cold out there and everything? I mean, pretty good test to say that your hammy and everything is good.
I wouldn't want to call it a test because, like I said, I wanted it to be ready to go right away. So I didn't really want it to be the first game to be on AstroTurf or the first game to be in cold, but that's the cards we were dealt, and it held up really well, and we're proud of it. So we're gonna keep with all the treatment and all the stuff to keep it going, and keep on my correctives every day to stay healthy.
As far as this Dodgers series goes, obviously there was a lot of emotion at the end of last season and the playoffs and everything. Is it fair to say that that doesn't go away during an off season? A lot of intensity heading into this series for you guys.
Can you repeat the question again?
Yeah, the intensity that ended the season last year between you and the Dodgers. Is it fair to say that there's still a lot of emotion and intensity coming into this series, playing the top team in baseball?
Yeah, I'd say there's definitely going to be a lot of intensity. We're excited to play this series, and I'm sure they're excited to play us after all these acquisitions.
As far as facing their pitching staff, obviously they're pretty tough. From a hitter standpoint, what is the key when you're facing tough pitching like this? Is it patience within the zone? Is it making sure that you get to the pitch that you think you can get to early in the count so you don't find yourself in a two-strike situation? What's sort of the approach, if you will?
I think for me to be successful personally, I have to stick to my approach. So that's just sticking to all my cues, making sure I feel good with where I'm at, or I'm just ready to go out there and compete against whoever's on the mound.
Cool. I want to ask you about some Milwaukee questions as well later, but I'll let other people ask you about Dodger stuff, and if I can come back on Milwaukee, I'd appreciate it.
Perfect. Sounds good.
Thanks.
All right, next we'll go to Annie.
Hey, Trent, what do you remember about your home run off of Kershaw last September?
I remember it was a little bit of a jump start in a tight game. I think it was around the sixth, seventh. So I remember that's really basically all I mean. It was a big energy shift.
I know that you have said your reaction was organic during that time, but was it also indicative a little bit of the fact that you guys were fearless at that point, that the team was just didn't matter who you were playing, you were kind of ready to take on whatever it was?
Yeah, I think we have a lot of confidence in ourselves, and we stay really tight knit as a team. We have a lot of confidence in each other. And we have a lot of confidence in ourselves individually. So, I mean, I think that just comes out when we play in these big games.
If the situation was reversed and it was a Dodgers player that did that to the Padres dugout, like, would you remember it? Do you think that it would be something that you would be thinking about even in next season?
I couldn't tell you if it didn't happen, but I mean, if it's a guy looking at their dugout and doing their thing, I mean, I'm not going to be bent out of shape about what they're doing with themselves. It's their team.
And like you said, it's a high intensity series. Can you just kind of elaborate on that? Like, just when you're facing the champs, the defending champs, and a team that is the best in baseball, right? Like, you want to go out, you want to beat them, right? I mean, you want to win every series, but it means a little bit more when it's the best.
We want to beat everybody we play against, but yeah, considering they're a very good team and a very talented team, it's going to be a good test for us to see where we're at right now.
Thanks, Trent.
Next we'll go to Bryce Miller.
Hey, Trent. It's a little hard on the outside to get a gauge on how the Dodgers feel about this series, and I know that isn't your job to sort that out either, but Justin Turner said in the offseason with all the moves that these will be 19 World Series games, and then today Corey Seager really downplayed it, didn't really acknowledge the energy or intensity of it at all. Do you guys have a sense if there's a different feel from those two teams about this series or the season, or is that salesmanship a little bit on the other side?
Honestly, I'm sure I don't want to speak for them, but for us, we're going to have to see when we get out there. It's a new year. It's a new team, new faces on our side, new kind of mantra, new kind of moxie on our side. So we're going to have to get out there, and we're going to have fans in the stand this year. We're going to be at our home park. I think we're going over there next week sometime. So, I mean, we're gonna have to get on the field and see where we're at. I mean, I'm sure the energy is going to be electric. We're excited. There's going to be a lot of Padres fans in the seats tonight, so we'll see what happens.
One last one. Given that it isn't the postseason format of a year ago and there's a true wild card situation this year, some people will say, okay, it's 1 or 2 or 3 games in April that you're about to play, but given the meaningfulness of winning the division versus, a 1-game situation that could end a season later, how important are each and every one of these, starting with tonight?
I think you just explained that each game is definitely going to be important. So we're going to take them seriously, just like we take every game, because we're at the big league level, and try to go out there and win.
But not necessarily more meaningful in the 19 with them, given their standing.
It's going to be very meaningful because they're in the West. So, yeah, we're gonna try to go beat them.
Thank you.
AJ Casvo.
Trent, at the risk of oversimplifying things, what does it mean to have Fernando back? Like, aside from like the obvious production, what he does numbers-wise and what he can do in the field, like, what does it mean for your clubhouse and maybe for your lineup in general to have him back in it?
It means a lot, man. He's a game-changing player, as I'm sure you all know. So we're excited to have him back. He's very dynamic. He's very excited to get back tonight. So we're pumped to have him in the lineup.
What do you like in particular of maybe hitting one with him too? What do you like about that kind of 1-2 punch at the top?
I'm probably going to get a lot of good pitchers to hit because they don't want to face me. They don't want to face him with me on base. So I like that.
All right. Do we have any other questions before we go back to scan? All right. Bob, take it away.
Hey, Trent, I know you're focused on Dodgers and everything, but because of the circumstances, we may not get another opportunity to talk to you before you play the Brewers. It's the first time that you've played them since getting traded over to the Padres. Have you given any thought, or do you expect to have any feelings about facing your old club?
I'm sure there's going to be a lot of nostalgia around it, but I'm just excited to see those guys again. I made a lot of relationships over there, so to be able to see them again on the field and then get to compete against them, it's going to be a lot of fun.
As far as the fans go, it seems like they were kind of hard on you about the last game and how things ended. Any chip on your shoulder with regards to going back and playing that organization again?
No, I think it'll be same old, same old. It's not going to be any different.
Okay. So, and from your perspective, the Gold Glove, it didn't wash away any doubts that others might have had about your defensive abilities or anything based on that last game?
To be honest, Bob, I'm not really worried about what the doubts that fans have in my game. I'm confident in my game. I think I'm a good player, and I'm going to continue to try to keep getting better every day. So that's really all I care about.